I think we can all agree, and I'm recording this April 14th of 2021. But this last year, over a year now, well, they've been a little bit insane. And I haven't made the thumbnail picture for this video yet, but right now the working title is Navigating the kind of the skies of insanity, because it can sometimes feel that way. And there are certain techniques in navigating this very troubling, when you think about it, terrain that we really need to focus on right now. And actually, that's the topic of this episode of Living Spiritually in a Practical World. See you in a second. So imagine you're in a, do you remember when we could fly? I mean, you can still fly, but like really fly? So imagine you're in a plane flying at 30,000 feet. Now, everything's going smooth. The pilots, everything's going smooth with them. The sky's pretty smooth. The air's pretty smooth and everything. And then they hit turbulence, and it's unexpected, or they hit a, I don't know all the aeronautical terms, like a wind shear or something like that. But what happens is they go from 30,000 feet to 20,000 feet. Now that's a drop of 10,000 feet. And while that's disruptive, of course, you haven't crashed yet. So you've went from 30,000 feet to 20,000 feet, but you're still flying. Now, the pilots see this. Oh, we've just dropped 10,000 feet. Now, here's the first thing they're not going to do. They're not going to freak out because they've dropped that 10,000 feet. They're aware of it. They're not downplaying it. They're going to go on alert, right? Okay, why did this happen, right? Let's check this out. But the first thing they're going to do is they're going to focus on stabilizing the plane at 20,000 feet. Because yes, dropping from 30,000 to 20,000 is not ideal. But if that process keeps happening, well, right, that's so going from 30,000 to 20,000, that 10,000 foot drop, that's something. But if you're flying at 8,000 feet and drop 10,000, well, that's a whole different outcome, isn't it? And that's the thing to remember right now is, in these times, and all joking aside, in these times, it's really challenging to maintain consistently that 30,000 foot altitude where you're just kind of flying and it's, pardon the pun, wind beneath your wings and all that kind of stuff. It can be really challenging to do that. And sometimes it's just not attainable. And so understanding that, yes, that's, if you dropped again, let's say that 10,000 feet, now you're flying 20,000, that's not where you would really like to be, but it's where you're at right now. Now, that's a really important thing to remember. When we drop, so think of vibrationally speaking, when he dropped from a 30,000 vibration to a 20,000, I'm just picking numbers here. That's not probably where you ideally want to be. But at this moment, that's where you are. So now, how are we going to manage that? And I think that's the thing. The thing is, yes, you've dropped. Got it. Is this where you want to be? No. But right now, this is where you are. So what are we going to do to manage where I am at right now? Well, like so many of our teachings, the first thing that you don't do when something like that happens is react. So the pilots, and if this plane drops, and they're going, oh God, oh God, oh God, and they freak out. Now what's happening is they're risking dropping from 20,000 feet to 15,000 feet. You see? And then if they freak out there, it goes from 15,000 feet to 10,000 feet and on and on and on, right? And the thing of it is, even if that happened, what's their goal? Their goal is not to hit the damn ground, right? Their goal is not to crash. But if you focus on, oh my God, I can't let it get lower, or what are we going to do? You're creating the environment that's conducive to that very thing happening, getting lower and lower and lower. So to me, the first thing you don't do is you don't panic. You don't freak out. Now, what's a more mechanical way of understanding that? When that happens, there's two things you don't do. You don't look up to 30,000 feet, right up there, and go, oh, wow, oh, it's so far away. Because right now, that's not where you're at, right? The other thing you sure don't do is you don't look down and go, oh my goodness, there's the ground. The ground is closer. Oh my goodness, there's the ground. And this is this interesting thing. You go, okay, well, I'm supposed to focus on where I want to go. Absolutely. But the first thing you need to do is stabilize where you're at. That was really valuable. Do we want to focus on where we want to be? Absolutely. That's my whole living from the, like hashtag, right? Living from the other side is all about that. But before that, we need to stabilize where we are at. So the pilots dropped, they're 20,000 feet. They're okay. Well, before we figure out why that happened and even try to get back up to 30,000, let's just make sure we can stabilize where we are at now, so we don't keep going down, down, down. Now, and this is kind of the interesting dichotomy. Down, down, down. Once you get on that momentum, because you got some momentum heading in that direction. See, now the momentum is going this way. So now if you focus on, oh my God, I hope I don't hit the ground, because the momentum is going that way. That's why if you focused on it, you're going to keep going down, down, down. See, that's why, because the momentum is going down, by focusing up here, it's not going to work right now. But focusing down here will accelerate it. See the difference? Right? And it go, okay, well, this is focus and this is focus. Yes, but it's the direction of momentum. I say that's a really important thing to remember. It's using your body, topic for another workshop in a video, using your body to give you an indicator where you're at. And you can just about bet if you went from 30 to 20, your body isn't going to feel good, right? So if your body isn't going to feel good or isn't feeling good, and now you're focused on something that's going to make it feel worse, that's the direction you're heading in. But what you want to do now is you want to slow the momentum going in the direction you don't want to go. Then you turn and start to go back up again. And I think that's the thing. So there's a lot of us, me included, that maybe not all the time, but more often than before, you're finding yourself, you're at that 20,000, 10,000, whatever it is. Now, the most important thing to remember is because you're watching this, you haven't crashed yet. It may feel that way. You may say, I'm crashing, but you haven't crashed yet. So it doesn't matter. And these are just numbers. It doesn't matter whether it's 20, 25, 10, whatever, right? If you're watching this, you haven't crashed yet. And because of that, you can start to head back up. First thing you do, stabilize where you're at. Don't look up, don't look down, look right here in this present moment. Stabilize where you're at. How do you do that? Spiritual practice. What does that mean? Anything and everything that you can do to create any type of sense of, and it's probably not this moment. It might be, right? But it's something, right? And understanding that this is not where you want to be. But right now, we need to stabilize you in the experience or the vibrational attitude of where you don't want to be. And then you can start to move upwards. And maybe you won't get from 20,000, like maybe the drop from 30,000 to 20,000 was pretty damn fast. And you may not, probably won't, especially right now, go from 20,000 back up to 30,000. But at least if you stabilize it, and then maybe you can go up to 21 or maybe 22, and these are just numbers again, but you're kind of heading in that direction. Now the momentum is starting to move up again rather than down. And when we take those drops, we have such a high degree of influence as to whether we allow that momentum to keep carrying us down, or we dissipate that, stabilize, and then start to move that momentum. And actually even stabilizing it, the momentum will start to take us up because we're designed to fly, right? We're designed to fly. We're designed to go higher and higher and higher. And that's always your ace in the hole. As I talked about in so many other classes, you're a beach ball that wants to float, not a brick that has to be picked up. So that plane wants to go, I don't know if it's correct or not, the autopilot wants to take it back to 30,000 feet. In many respects, all we need to do is stabilize where we're at so we don't go any lower, hang in there, and little by little, bump it up, bump it up, bump it up, bump it up, because then things start moving higher and higher. All right, folks, cut yourself a whole bunch of slack. Homework assignment. Let's see. Where's my homework assignment button? Geez, it's been a while since I did this. It's not on here. Hold on. Can I find it on here? There it is. Homework. Oh, that was terrible. The green screen wasn't even turned on right. Well, there you go. It's been a while since I did a video. Your homework assignment is just that. What's your homework assignment? Cut yourself a bunch of slack, especially right now. Things are crazy right now. And maybe consistently flying at 30,000 feet, maybe right now just isn't possible. So, okay, it's not. Focus on maintaining wherever you are at. And probably your biggest homework assignment is to remember these words. Because you're listening to this, because you're watching this, you haven't crashed. Maybe it feels like you are, but you haven't crashed yet. And because of that, you can stabilize and start to move and get higher and higher. Maybe not all the way up, but higher and higher and higher. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. See you on the web.